Hello everyone, my name is Chin Valdez and today we're going to be talking about Fanny, Mikasa, and Duet Night Abyss Rhythm. So Duet Night Abyss just released a couple of days ago, and the moment I saw this character have ODMs or the omnidirectional mobility gear, I knew right then and there that this was going to be my main character. So right off the bat, on the first day, I immediately grinded for rhythm. So true enough, with the omnidirectional mobility gear, that's exactly how she plays. So she basically releases her cables and starts to zip around, dealing damage to enemies she passes by. Before we get into her build, we kinda have to talk about how her skills work first. So her Volt Rush or her E skill is the skill that actually allows her to zip around with her cables or with her ODMs, and is also going to be one of your main sources of damage early on, especially when you don't have dupes of rhythm just yet. Her ultimate or her Q is Electro Vortex. It basically puts you in the state where you have enhanced movement speed and you deal damage to random enemies in a very wide AoE. So its effect radius is about 50 meters. It's basically almost the same range as some of your assault rifles. Now her passive is where the meat and potatoes of her entire kit kind of revolves around. It's the Tactical Preservation. Basically what it does is it converts any sanity that you consume into another source of energy or another currency of energy, if you will, called electric energy. So it's gonna be this icon over here at the bottom of your screen, and it will increase by the amount of sanity that you consume. Its maximum limit is also equal to your maximum sanity as well. So let's say if I use my Q over here, as our Q starts to burn our sanity, it also increases our electric energy. So now the way to burn that electric energy is through her E skill, which is the Volt Rush. As long as you have at least 30 points of electric energy, your Volt Rush allows you to zip by faster and also deals a lot more damage. And afterwards also grants you a buff that effectively increases the damage dealt by rhythm. So it's a whopping boost from around 1800% at level 6. All the way up to 3000%. The damage boost is fixed at 90% and also lasts 9 seconds. So that's basically how we're gonna be burning our electric energy. But Rhythm also has another passive over here, which is the Power of Anxiety. When we do consume electric energy, it converts 50% of it back into sanity. So now you can kind of see how the whole loop or the whole skill rotation goes for Rhythm here. You burn sanity, it gets converted into electric energy, then you burn electric energy and it's converted back into sanity. Now her ult is also extremely powerful. It has such a massive range, and it gets even more powerful later on when we get more Rhythm dupes. But basically, we randomly charge up enemies with negative and positive charges, and when those enemies get into range of each other, the targets are pulled together kind of like how magnets work with both positive and negative charges, and they're hit with a massive 5700% damage, and this is only at level 6 right now. Now all of these things get even better later on when we get more dupes of Rhythm, which kinda increases its effective range and gives her more AoE. All of these things to happen more often. But that's more or less Rhythm's entire kit. So now going into her Demon Wedges, she's mostly a skill-based character, so you're gonna want a lot of skill damage. So I do have Ravaging Thunder over here, which gives more skill damage. We have Thunder Wildfire, which increases her electro attack, skill damage, and skill range. And the rest we're just running whatever source of Blaze that we have right now. So currently I have 2 pieces of Blaze Volition. I eventually plan to swap out the Blaze Morale and the regular Blaze with 2 more pieces of Blaze Volition. And I'm also running Wings Inspo, so this is going to be for more sanity and more skill efficiency. I was initially running more skill efficiency by running Inspo Elapse and Inspo Shards, even Wings Elapse and Wings Shards just for the whole sanity management. But I found that just managing your energy correctly or just managing it more proactively kind of allows me to run more damage and more attack. But definitely, especially when you're still learning to play rhythm, running more inspo and running more wings, which is going to be your max sanity and your skill efficiency, will definitely be more comfortable. But for now, since I'm pretty confident and pretty comfortable just managing her E and her Q, I'm just going for a little bit more attack this time around. I'm running Steadfast as her core Demon Wedge. It reduces the damage that you deal by 15%, but in exchange, you gain immunity to hit stun. So while I do deal 15% less damage, I get to attack freely without a care in the world, without even needing to dodge, as long as I survive the hits. And getting knocked down on your butt is definitely gonna be a much bigger damage loss than 15%. So I'd much rather just run Steadfast for now. For her weapon, I'm currently running the Wither Shade. So it's the katana with the skill range passive over here. Technically, running something like the Wayne Wraith could be better, especially if you're just fighting 1v1 versus a boss or lesser enemies. This definitely converts to more DPS, giving that much coveted 24% skill damage. But there's just something about katanas that I love in games, and this particular katana looks great with that whole demon look that Rhythm kinda has. Kinda makes her feel like a female Virgil. And the katana animations is nothing to scoff at as well. Definitely a female Virgil. For the weapon Demon Wedges, it's just a typical DPS build with crits and crit damage, maybe some attack speed. I also slot this in here, the Crescent Flurry, which pretty much changes her heavy attack into the Helmbreaker from Monster Hunter. And for her ranged weapon, I'm running the X-Chris Duo. It increases skill damage again by 24%. For Demon Wedges, it's just whatever, you barely ever use it. But just in case, I have slotted just a bit of a more DPS Demon Wedges here as well. Now later on, I could be swapping this over for something else with skill range most probably. Just as I do have here with the katana, which also gives me skill range. Because her ult, Electro Vortex, does increase the damage radius when you increase skill range over here. So just to make sure that it's always proccing, always applying those electric charges, those positive and negative charges, I'd probably be shooting for more skill range. For her supports, of course, we're going to be running Truffle. Truffle is just hands down one of, if not the best support right now in the game. He's going to be using the Arclight Apocalypsis. And for Demon Wedges, it's just mostly going to be Sanity, HP, skill duration, just typical support stuff. And for her other support, it's going to be Tabitha. Tabitha's kit basically just boosts a lot of skill damage. And there's also a support sword here, which I don't have just yet, but I will be farming for later on. And it's called the Shackle of Lone Wolf. Basically, when a Hydro character triggers a bonus effect with this weapon, other allies gain 33% attack. So she's kind of like a sub DPS here. We're running her with skill damage. I also have Uplift with her. We have a little bit more skill damage, and we're also boosting skill duration. Later on, when I do find more time to farm for her, I will be farming more skill duration for her as well. So that's basically her team. So I have Serenity with Truffle and Uplift with Tabitha, and mostly just boosting more attack and damage on our main DPS Rhythm. Now, depending on the situations, you could be swapping out some of her Demon Wedges for more interesting Demon Wedges here. So I kind of have Duel here, Intrepidity, Onslaught, Trap. You know, these are also pretty interesting Demon Wedges that you could be using depending on the situation. So when it comes to actual combat, a couple of tips that I'd like to share is just flipping around your mouse while you're flying, or your target if you're on mobile. So while you're zipping, you just point it backwards to where you came from. And you actually start zipping back and forth like that. So that's gonna allow you to just run by your target just multiple times. Or if you're just facing a single target, maybe like a boss or something, you just simply lock on and just keep spamming E. There are also some times where you'd probably need to like jump cancel out of a zip. Wait. See a Genie Mon over here. Nice. So as I was saying, there are some times you'd probably want to jump cancel out of a zip, maybe to reposition or to change to another target. So you could also do that. You just jump out of it and then You can also cancel a zip by using your sprint or your dodge. So let's say if there's like a specific target that you wouldn't want to run by and just want to keep spamming, use your E, dash back, and use your E some more. And very often during combat, what I also like to do is while I'm zipping, I just jump cancel out of it and then I go into a plunge. It allows me to reposition next to the nearest target, which guarantees that I'm able to hit them next with our skills. So let me show you how she kind of performs against a boss. So this one right here is the Crystallophile.
So for this boss, you kind of have to break his limbs first to get him on the ground. You get a 48k there from our E. You get a 94k from our Q. You get another 51k from our E. And another 92k from our Q. So basically, there's just really lots of things happening. We're getting damage from both our E and Q at the same time. And basically at this point, the boss is immune. So we have to wait for him to go into second phase. Or just do the same thing and finish him off.
So with all of that said, let's try dropping her into a few combat scenarios. Like for now, let's maybe try to get this Misty Veil. We're gonna use it on Rebecca later on. Of course, hands down, Rhythm would be the best for traversal, both vertical and horizontal traversal. It's not even close. There's rarely any need for us to use our ranged weapons because she gets around and zips around so fast that we can just basically zip over to an enemy and just normal attack or basic attack if needed. So there we go, we got our Misty Veil. Easy RNG for the video. So now, maybe a quick run into the Immersive Theater. We're not going to be running her in the Immortal repertoire. Of course, she's not going to be doing damage here. We're going to want someone with Animo or Pyro. So we're going to do featured repertoire. So we're going to take Rhythm and face the Eclosioner, which is probably, in my opinion, one of the most annoying bosses in this game. Well, she's flying around, but good thing, Rhythm can also fly. If you've made it this far and you've enjoyed the content, consider liking and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell so you don't miss out on our new videos. Hope to see you all on the next one.